Feeling a bit energized so far. So we're going to move on with the journey. Allow me to share my screen, and then we can begin. So let's recap very briefly. Please let me know if you can't hear me, if you can't see the slides. Right, so we began with the eternal phase by Sister Dimple, and then we moved on towards, very beautifully, Sister Dimple described to us how the eternal phase has this thought, this mindset that this is me, this is I am, you know. So this is what you get, very pure, no duality. So from the eternal phase, we find that she moves on to the traditional phase, where Sister Prema very in detail described to us how this woman, this traditional phase woman, says that I follow whatever that you say, whatever that you want me to do. I am who you say I am. We're going to watch a very short video clip now. Please watch, and then we're going to discuss the video.
Thousands of women who said that they feel guilty for taking time for self-care. That's such a huge factor. Guilt and shame and fear. So it's reframing and, as you said, creating new patterns of understanding the importance that self-care isn't only for self, but it's so we can show up for others.
Beautifully described how women, and it's quite surprising, this comes from the Western world, where they feel that when I take care of myself, when I spend time for me alone, they feel guilty, they feel ashamed, there is certain fear. And then very beautifully, the counselor says that, you know, when you take care of yourself, then you take care of the others. But the traditional woman does not feel that way. She always has these feelings of guilt and fear and ashamed. So let me go back to my screen. So the traditional phase also is the yes woman. So Sister Prema said this. How does she become the yes woman? Not necessarily someone who is not educated, not someone who is not going out there to be out there in the outside world. It can be someone very much educated, who has a good job, and yet she can be the yes woman. Let's watch the next video.
ऑफिस में ऑन टाइम टारगेट्स मीट करने वाली मिसेस कश्यप घर में सबकी डिमांड्स भी ऑन टाइम मीट करती है, बस थोड़े से प्यार और सहानुभूति की उम्मीद में।
लेट हो रहा है क्या?
So sorry.
बस। देखो बहू, तुम्हें कितनी बार समझाया है कि ऐसे चुस्त कपड़े पहनकर बाहर मत जाया करो। लोग गंदी नजर से देखते हैं। लड़के कमेंट करेंगे, अच्छा लगेगा तुम्हें? आदमी को एक ही बार समझाने से समझ जाना चाहिए।
आपका खाना बना के रख दिया है, दवाइयाँ टाइम पे ले लीजिएगा। गुड डे पापा जी।
Okay. I hope you managed to see the subtitles because I thought it's a very traditional scene. We watch these scenes very often in our Indian dramas. What I wanted to see is the yes woman role that she plays. She wears something comfortable for her, and yet when this person says, "Why are you wearing such tight clothes?" immediately she does something to it. The yes woman. Let's move on. So we've moved on. So we looked at how she conforms to people around her, to society. So the word conform, she just accepts. She does not say a word. Then we move on to the modern phase. So our journey continues with the third phase, that is the modern phase. And this is where the phase says, this woman says, "I'm not who you say I am." Okay, let's watch this video now. From the same video, the same series.
मेरे घर, मेरे बच्चे का ध्यान रखो बस।
घर और अक्षत की जिम्मेदारी मैं आज तक अच्छे से निभाती आई हूँ और आगे भी अच्छे से निभाऊंगी। All I'm asking from you is just to respect my dreams.
मेरे भाई का बेटा यूएस में जाकर सेटल हो गया है। हमें भी अक्षत को हायर स्टडीज के लिए यूएस भेजना है ताकि वो वहां जाकर सेटल हो सके। मेरा यूएस जाने का सपना मेरा बेटा पूरा करेगा। सुबह ऑफिस जाना है, सो जाओ।
भले ही समंदर की एक बूंद बन जाऊं, पर समंदर में मेरा अस्तित्व तो रहे। परिवार को मेरे प्यार की थोड़ी कदर तो रहे। फिर वही सवाल दस्तक दे रहा है मेरे अरमानों के दरवाजे पर। मैं कौन हूं? Who am I?
So this is where she adorns the third phase, the modern phase. So all the while she remains silent, carrying out her responsibilities, does not say, does not question. And then she begins usually with the closest person in her interaction, husband, mother. And when the questions are not answered, when the questions seem to be just left like that, this is where the modern phase woman rises. Let's go to the screen. At this moment, how do you think she feels? Where she has questions, but there's no answer. And she feels something is not right. This is where she feels trapped. She sits in this cage and she feels that this trapped by society, by rules, by expectations. They are just there and she feels that she cannot do anything about it. She should be doing something. In the traditional phase, the woman accepts it. She does not even feel the cage. She does not even feel the trap. She thinks, it's okay. I feel good. There are many of my friends who feel that they feel good about life because husbands takes care of it, of everything. They don't have to decide for anything. Husband does the decision. Every holidays they get to go for a vacation. Life is good. And therefore they feel there's no trap. But then situation will definitely come. And at that time, questions begin to come to her. So this is where the modern phase. So look at this picture. Look at the eye. You could see that something is burning within her. You could feel there's some kind of a focus. There's some kind of an aim, some goal, something that she wants to do very badly. So this modern face is the one who's going to say, I'm not who you say I am. At this moment, I would like all of you, all of us, to spend little time to say this out loudly. You can say it loudly, you can say it in your heart, but I would like you to say it. First of all, say, I am. I am. How do you feel when you say that? I am. Now, we move on to a traditional face woman who says, well, I am who you say I am. Say it out. I am who you say I am. How do you feel when you say that? And then now you're going to say, I'm not who you say I am. How do you feel? Naturally, if you really say it with that kind of a passion, you would feel certain energy burning within you. You will feel certain anger, restlessness, because you are not going to tell me what to do. I am not who you say I am. Let's move on. What happens to me in this process of becoming this woman who was all the while in the traditional system, adorning the traditional face? I'm moving on, becoming a little, I wouldn't want to use the word rebellious, but for some people, they might see you being rebellious. A woman who seems to be suddenly empowered. I'm becoming this woman with a modern face. How do I feel? What is happening within me in this process? First of all, I will have this hunger to fulfill the truth within me. Sister Dimple began by the eternal face by saying there's this certain truth within us. And this truth always speaks to us. Sometimes we say conscience, but there's this truth, this wisdom that tells us something is not right. This is not what I want to do. So this truth within me is craving to be fulfilled. And when it's not fulfilled, I become angry. I become restless. And then what happens after that? I begin to observe my family, culture, religion, my spouse, the whole institution. I begin to observe. Let's watch this video now.
It reminds me of one time, exactly this month last year. I have a very, let's say, hard time discussing with my mom. Actually, a debate of how women should behave. My mom. So she is very traditional woman, to be honest. So every time we're talking about, okay, mom, I go to this countries for meeting, for a work mission. She was like, who are you go with? Why you have to go there? Just don't go at all. I don't want you to go. And it was a sad moment when, as a girl, I want to be independent financially, mentally, and physically. But to her, she just wants me to be safe. She don't want me to go there. She don't want me to explore. And I know it's just because she cares and she loves me. There was one time, I went through an emotional breakdown with my mom. I was working hard and stay late at night. And she asked me, why you have to work so hard? Because at one point, you'll be married anyway. To me, it's sad, because I'm not the type of telling my stories to the other people, sharing my problem. But I need someone who loves me. I need someone who I love to at least understand what I've been through. And as a woman in this country, that's hard. And when even your mom saying that thing to you, and I realize he doesn't understand what I've been through at all. Because he just think that, okay, school achievement, I graduated from grade A, from high school, starting triple degree, and all those things, it's just a temporary things that I can do. Because at the end of the day, I'll be a good housewife.
So can you see the struggle? She's a young lady in her 20s, and she began to observe, very mature, the way she looks at things, isn't it? She could see the difference. But then just think about from the mother's point of view. Is the mother wrong to say that, do you really have to go? Do you really have to do all this? Is the mother wrong? No, she's not. Because according to her, her daughter's safety is a priority here. The mother has this belief that, why do you work so hard? You know, you're going to spoil your health because in the end, you're going to get married. So the mother is not wrong because she is a traditional face woman. But look at this girl. For her, she's struggling to have this identity for herself. She wants to be independent and she's not taking it easy. You know, she's working very hard. And who she confides in with? She confides with her mother, the closest person with her. You saw the video, the earlier video, she confides in her husband. And then now this lady, she talks to her mother. And she feels so upset. The mother does not understand where she's coming from. So this is how people of these women of this faith begin to observe the culture, society, family. And then what happens is when there is no proper understanding, what is going to happen in the end? There's going to be a tug of war, isn't it? My relationships are going to be strained. Even the person I love the most, I will see them as my enemy if I don't have the wisdom, the knowledge to understand. Let's go back to the screen. I will also at the same time become a thinker and I will fight silently. So when I say a modern woman, don't have this vision of someone who goes out there protesting, you know, loudly. No. Usually a modern woman would start off very silently, fighting for freedom, for personal rights. She would also become passive aggressive. What does passive aggressive mean? Some of us, I think, I'm sure we have done it before. That means I don't participate. Say there's a gathering, I didn't want to go. Someone that I'm not very comfortable with is there, but I'm forced to go. I go, all right? And then I'm there, but people come and talk to me. I don't show that I'm happy. I don't show that I'm having good experience. I don't want to do that because I want to tell them that you make me do this and I'm not happy. This is not what I want to do. Some of us, we protest, we fight loudly. People can see from a distance. Some of us, very passive but aggressive. So this is how we do. And then I will find ways to reform the traditional system. So the traditional woman, the traditional face, she conforms to the situation around her. But the modern face woman tries to reform, change the traditional system. Let's watch the next video.
I was just born, 20 days old, and she was asked to make a choice. It was either me or my father, because my father didn't want another daughter.
What would you have done? You got a newborn baby, your second daughter, husband says, either me or her, because I don't want two girls in the family. A traditional woman would have done what? A modern woman, a modern face woman. What do you think should have done? If you were in that position, what do you think you would have done? Let's see, what did she do? Let's look at the next video.
my mother chose me. With one infant in one hand and a daughter who's 7 years old in another, she left her marital house. I'm not really sure of what she was thinking back then, but while leaving, she just said, "One day this girl will make me proud."
So what did she do? What did the mother do? She fought the traditional system. Because traditionally, especially in the Indian culture, whatever the husband says, you listen. But this lady, this mother, didn't. So what did she do? She picked up her bag, packed her bags, and she left. So she was trying to find a way to reform the traditional system, the modern phase. Why did she make that decision? Because at that moment, she wants to tell the world, she wants to tell the husband, I am not who you think I am. And also, I was wondering if you could see how the daughter describes the mother. And the daughter says, the mother didn't cry. She did not leave the home sadly, so heartbroken that the husband did this to her. No. How did she walk out of that home? Very proudly, she said, one day, this girl is going to make me proud. So can you see the kind of determination that she has? She wasn't chased out of the home. She made the decision to leave. So this is the difference between a tradition, because if it's a traditional woman, if she told her husband, I want my baby too, I want you and I want my baby too, what's wrong? Let's have the child. The husband would have chased her out of the house. But in this situation, the modern phase woman, she made up her mind. She made the decision to leave. And how did she leave? She left proudly. The determination, this girl is going to make me proud. That is the difference. Let's go on. Now, in this whole process, there's going to be constant battle, this constant fight, either silent fight, or it can be something loud. There are some people, some women who can be verbally, they can just speak, protest, they fight. But no matter what kind of a fighting it can be, you would find at the end of the day, you're going to be very angry. You're going to be very restless. However, after some time, I would begin to feel good. Why? Because I have this new me within. This new me is born because I have this feeling, this thought, this mindset that I am not going to listen to what you have to tell me. I feel energized. I feel this new energy within me. And this energy is going to give me the independence. The mother walked out of the house. She has to be independent to earn a living on her own for her 2 kids. She is going to feel courageous. She must be courageous. She's not going to leave that home if there's no courage within her. She's going to feel confident. How can I go out there without anything, with just 2 kids? If there's no confidence that I can make it out there without anyone to support me, without my husband by my side. And I'm going to feel determined because I already made my decision. Now I am going to make it work no matter what. And this feeling finally is going to make me feel free. And this is the freedom that a modern phase woman aspires. This is the kind of a feeling she wants. She wants to do something that she believes in. The freedom to say yes to what I want, not to what you want. However, this new energy, this new independence, this courage, this confidence, the determination, the freedom, they all are very positive, isn't it? But after some time, you're going to become righteous. Why righteous? Because you're going to feel that what I did was the right thing. And if I see a friend of mine, I see my sister who is still in that traditional system, I'm going to say, you're so silly. You're still listening to what your husband is saying. You're still listening to what your employer is saying. Speak up, fight for your rights. And when I become so righteous, what I feel after some time, I feel superior. Certain arrogance will come in. So, from the positive qualities that came from within, and the kind of recognition I get from outside, because people are looking up to me, wow, look at this woman, this total transformation. I wish I can be as courageous as her. I'm going to listen to all these and I feel good about it. And then I feel that what I've done is good, is the right one. And then I feel superior, I feel arrogant. So it slowly becomes a little bit not very comfortable, not so positive. And do you know, person with such qualities, this modern faced woman, is a very good example of a good leader. She can be a very good leader because she knows how to inspire people. She has all these positive qualities to make people believe in her. So people want to listen to what she says. So with all these things happening, I really feel that, wow, I've discovered my identity. This is me. For a modern faced woman, does God exist in her life? For a traditional woman, two things. Number one, God is my one and only pillar because he's the only one who's going to listen to my sad story. I feel unhappy. Of course, I can't go and talk to anyone about it because I'm expected to behave in a certain way, follow the rules. And therefore, when I go, I pray, I stand in front of God, I just talk to him. Or God becomes the one whom I blame. What to do? This is my destiny. I'm fated. I don't know why God is punishing me. The traditional woman, this is how she sees God in her life. But a modern woman, a modern faced woman, two things again. Either she has a close relationship with God. Let's watch this video before I move on to the next one.
I didn't really share any of these things with mummy, ever. I think that's when I kind of developed this relationship with God. I mean, you always need someone you can share your feelings with, tell people what you exactly feel. I would just look out of the window or go to my terrace and have a conversation. Went out, tell him what I want, what I desire, everything that I'm going through. I would feel, and I still do, till date, that there is someone out there who listens to me, who hears me out, who always has my back. And I mean, to an extent, that on the Miss India stage, final moment, when the hosts were just about to announce the main final winners, 5 of us holding on to each other. The other 4 girls are looking at the hosts because they're just going to announce the winners. And then there is me. I'm holding on to the girls and looking up in the sky, and I'm murmuring to myself, God, please, God, please, God, please, God, please. It's evident in all the videos that are online.
Okay, so it's either I have this great support from God because I know in order for me to achieve the ambition that I have, I need his support. The most powerful being. He's the only one who can give me the support. She didn't discuss anything with her mother because if you really watch the whole video, she was, you know what, she was doing? She just aspired to be Miss India. So she came from not a very wealthy background. So she will go to this an ashram and she will have this prasad. That prasad was a dinner. And she didn't want to tell her mother that what she was doing because she wanted to save enough money for the competition. So the only person that she spoke to was God. So for a modern faced woman, God becomes her strong support. Or on the extreme end, the other end, they can also shun God. Why? Because they feel, I don't really need God because I know what to do. The kind of an anger that you had because of the traditional faith, how you felt that God didn't really help you. At this moment, I'm helping myself and I feel good about my life. And therefore, I don't really need his help, his support. So two things are happening here. Or another scenario is when you feel that God is the one who has chosen you to be the beacon for all the women out there. I need to go and rescue all these women who are stuck in this traditional faith system. In both situations, you could see the kind of arrogance, the kind of overconfidence you have about yourself. So, this is the moment when the modern faith woman feels that she has broken away from that trap. This door is opened for her. She's finally free. And what does she do next? If you look at the second image, not only she becomes free, she also becomes the support to break free other women, the other women who seem to be stuck in this trap, who listen to her, who thinks that, yeah, what she's done is right. Let me follow her footsteps. And she goes breaking open the door for these women to be free. So you go on in your life doing this. It can be your own sisters, your daughters, your colleagues. This is going to be sort of the kind of an aim you have in your life. Question now. Remember, we always go within. All this while, we've looked at the external factors. My family, my husband, society, people around me, my boss, my colleagues. These are all external factors. But within me, is there peace? It's quite difficult for me to have that real peace within me. You know why? Because number one, whatever that I don't want is in the past. So now I'm a woman fighting against a system that I didn't want, and that system is in the past. And whatever that I'm fighting for right now, I have to go back to the past to see. You see, at that moment, I was given an opportunity, but my husband said, no, don't. And I listened to him. And now I'm not going to do that anymore. So I'm going to refer back to the past. And then whatever that I want is supposedly waiting in the future for me. So you see, I'm not here, I'm not there. It's always like a battle, like a struggle. What is going to happen to my present? Am I living my present now? When I keep on switching, you know, if I don't want that anymore, if I do this now, then my future is going to be better for me. So it's always past, future, past, future. The present is a battle. Is there peace within me? That's the question. When we were discussing about our aims, we were discussing about what is our expectation during our reflection yesterday. Many of us spoke about peace because it really matters. The kind of peace and happiness that I want. But can I have peace when I'm constantly battling up here in my mind? So of course, I'm going to continue being angry. I'm going to continue being peaceless, restless. Then what happens? Battle is going on. People are looking up to me. I'm going around trying to make the others believe in what I believe in. This is what's going on. And I feel good about it. After some time, what happens is there's going to be a gradual change in my lifestyle. The way I speak, my language changes. I'm going to say, no, I don't think you should do that. no, I think I'm not going to do that. A lot of yes, no, must not. That's a change in my lifestyle. I begin to question everything. Even worse, I question a culture, a tradition, a system that has been in existence for hundreds of years. Recently, I just lost my sister-in-law last week. I stopped share for a while. I'm just giving a very simple example. This last week. And of course, as Hindus, there are so many rituals we have during our funeral, so many rituals. And for everything that we did, my daughter, she's just 14, and yet she had so many questions to ask. And when I tried to answer, she had other questions. But why are we doing it, Mom? It doesn't make sense. No, she had this phrase, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. She kept on saying that. So can you see how you begin to observe? But these are rituals that have been practiced for so many years, and I'm questioning that. And of course, perhaps she's still young, and therefore she becomes very vocal. She just asks me questions, wanting the answer. And because of that certain wisdom and certain knowledge, because I was asking the same questions when I was young, I could give her some answers. What happens if I don't answer? Because my mother, when I grew up, she used to say, well, everyone is doing it, you do it. Don't ask too many questions, Everyone has been doing it, you just do it. What happens if I say the same thing to my daughter? She's going to seek the answers somewhere else. And if she doesn't get the answer there, so you see how the cycle goes on. She's going to be not satisfied. She's not going to one day put a full stop. I'm not going to do all these things anymore because it doesn't make sense. Nobody's telling me the truth. Let me sidetrack a bit. This is another aim of this workshop that we're doing. This workshop is not just for me. It is also for me to have that enough wisdom and the knowledge to know how I can share with my peers, my sisters, my daughters, so that whatever questions that they have, it won't go unanswered. There's some sensible, they could see some sense in whatever that we are doing. Even though it can be a ritual, it can be something that doesn't make sense, but then the way you explain to her, she would do it happily. Because if not, when the time comes for them to have that freedom not to do it, they will choose not to. So this is why I feel that this workshop is so relevant for every woman. Okay, let's move on to my screen here. I begin to question everything. I will try to prove myself to myself and others that the new me is better, even though I know there are certain times I have to struggle so much. But because I have already given this picture, this portrait of me, and that this is the right me, the new me, I need to live up to that portrait, to that look that I've given everyone. Always trying to prove, not so much to myself, that I think is not really an issue, but to others, because people are looking up towards me. People are watching me. Once again, will there be peace within me? What happens after that? That constant struggle, the battle, trying to prove is going to make me feel hopeless, because there are some situations I am not going to win. I'm going to feel restless. Also, insecurity. I'm going to feel lonely. And then finally, I'm going to be so tired. How long can I go on proving myself to others? After some time, when I become tired, there's certain irritation in me, there's certain anger in me. People are going to sort of like avoid me because she's always angry about something. She's very sensitive about certain things. People might even call me a feminist. So at that moment, I'm going to feel certain loneliness, insecure. And then the mask that I try to wear all the time, I'm smiling on my mask, but within me, it's not that happiness that I seek, the peace that I seek. So far, any questions? Any comments? We've looked at the way a modern faced woman experiences life. How she believes in, I do what I want to do. You don't tell me what to do. I try to fulfill the desires, the truth within me that's telling me to do something that I want to do. We are going to spend some time now to watch a video. Watch the whole video, because after that we're going to discuss. I hope that you all will have something to say. So observe carefully, watch the whole scene. It's going to be a conversation between a mother and a daughter. And of course, the son, the male figure comes along. I would like you to see the whole scene and then we are going to discuss. Okay?
कभी स्ट्रेस नहीं लेते आप? I mean, आप इतने सॉर्टेड कैसे हो? मतलब कि एवरीथिंग, ये स्कूल, घर, पापा, सब कुछ आप इतनी शांति से हैंडल करते हो. How do you have it all?
एक सीक्रेट है, किसी को बताना नहीं. That's because I don't care.
What?
You won't believe it. लेकिन तुम्हारी उम्र की जब मैं थी तो तुमसे भी ज़्यादा स्ट्रेस थी. सच में. इतना बड़ा परिवार था एक तो. और मैंने वो स्ट्रेस ले लिया था कि मुझे परफेक्ट बनना है. परफेक्ट बहू, परफेक्ट वाइफ, परफेक्ट मदर. मैं इतनी चिड़चिड़ी हो गई थी कि मैं सबसे झगड़ती थी. तो किरण को तो मैंने कितना सताया है उस वक्त. एंड वन फाइन डे मैंने अपने आप को आईने में देखा और मुझे लगा कि ये क्या हो गया है मुझे. मैं ऐसी तो नहीं थी. I decided this has to stop. नेक्स्ट डे उठी, सबको चाय दी, लेकिन अगर किसी को गलती से काली मिर्च की बजाय अदरक की मिल जाती तो मुझे लगता था जाने दो, आई डोंट केयर. चाय तो मिली. और अगर इतनी परफेक्ट चाय चाहिए ही हो तो फिर आप खुद चाहिए किचन में, खुद बना लीजिए. हर चीज अपनी मर्जी के हिसाब से नहीं होती. किसी के पास ये ऑल नहीं होता है. जो कुछ भी अपने पास है ना, वही ऑल है.
अरे वाह, क्या चल रहा है? पानी पिला दो यार. तो क्या हुआ?
You can't have it all.
Can't have it all?
I mean, you can't have it all.
पानी तो दे दे
You
यार.
can't have it all यार. चाय तो मिल गई ना?
अरे चाय मिल.
चाय तो मिल रही है. You can't have it all.
निकी,
पर क्या बात कर रहे हो? अरे व्हाट्स सो फनी? फाइन, मैं फ्रिज से ले लूंगा.
Okay. What's your observation? The daughter, she asked her mother, how does she do it? You seem to be able to do it all perfectly. And the answer was quite surprising. She says, I don't care. Give me your comments, your thoughts about the whole scene. Does she belong to the traditional face woman? Or the modern face woman? Or you find there's a mix in between? Share with me in the chat box, maybe. Raise your hand, you want to say something? One observation I made was how the mother was able to share the kind of a wisdom that a young woman could accept. And the way the mother explained, she did in a very casual way. She did not make it so serious, that you have to do it this way. Very casually, but the message was so important, isn't it? And the daughter could understand what the mother was trying to say. So that was one interaction, one conversation, one communication that I felt was very easily done by this person who has the wisdom to manage that situation at that time. Any other observation? The whole scene. Anyone? My thoughts, it's something very regularly we see on dramas, on Indian dramas, right? Yeah, but so this particular scene, number 8. Okay, let me click on this. At present, she is modern woman, but she has a conditioning, her experiences was both, mixed of a traditional and modern woman. Yes, you're right. Very right. Anyone else? She is in that mix. And later on, we're going to discuss like which phase we identify with. What about the young lady? What's your observation of that young lady? Very good. Yes, Vijaya. She tried to strike a balance. The mother, is it? The mother is trying to strike a balance? Yeah. Yes. Yeah. What about the young lady who asked that question? Yes, Vasanta. Yes. The way she explained. I like the way the mother very casually, with that humor, she explained to her daughter. So we are looking at the women now, right? So the young lady, moving forward, she has created a path on going towards modern woman approach for her daughter. So yeah, very good. So she's sort of like telling her daughter, like, this is like the modern phase thinking, isn't it? Even though she didn't say that. And I like the advice that she gave. What was the advice that she gave? The advice is that you can't have it all. So you want me to make tea for you? Yeah, okay, I wake up in the morning, I make tea for everyone. You want this certain type of tea? Well, go to the kitchen, do it yourself. That is a very modern phase thinking, because they expected her to make a certain way, the tea, but she says, no, I'll make tea for everyone. You're going to get your tea, or you should be happy, at least you got your tea. But you want something special, go and get it yourself. Very, very modern way of thinking. But you see the way she approached it, she did not approach it in such a way where she puts up a strike, like, okay, I'm not going to make tea for anyone. She didn't do that. She prepared tea for all. But you want something special, do it yourself. Anything else? What about the kind of relationship this mother has with the son, with the daughter? Very light, very casual. There's so much of happiness there, isn't it? So even though the mother is actually struggling between traditional and modern, but the way she looks at that modern expectations as a modern faced woman, you find that she does it very smoothly. And very importantly, yes, Diana, she encouraged her daughter. Very good. And very, very importantly, I was hoping that someone would have said this, that at the end of the day, the mother seems to be at peace with herself. You could see the glow on her face. She was laughing, Even when the daughter asked that question, she seems to be in so much of happiness explaining to the daughter. You don't see any stress on her face. So you find that this kind of the peace within and the happiness within, you can't really experience it in the modern phase woman. You can't. We are going to look at another phase after this with Sister Rosa, where such a feelings of happiness and that kind of peace that you can get, not for yourself, that peace and happiness is also going to those around you, and everyone seems to be happy and at peace with you. That kind of a phase is very difficult to achieve as the modern phase woman. You know why? Because you are going to go on thinking critically about everything. So when can we achieve that kind of a peace and happiness within, with whatever that I'm doing outside? That would be the next phase. Okay, Napri, sister, how can I handle or face a situation where I'm going towards modern phase woman, but how not to keep some people hurt? Yes, I know, I went through that too. I remember how I was trying my best not to hurt my mother because she was very, very close to me. But I think always at the end of it, in the beginning is going to hurt them, definitely. But when they can see from where you're coming, how you are managing your life with whatever that you want to do, the moment they see that you're actually happily doing it, you are not only happy for yourself, within you, you're also happy. People around you are feeling happy, especially our mothers. When they see that, after some time, they will accept whatever that you're doing. If they become very hurt, this is from my own experience, they become very hurt when you protest. You make this big fuss and you protest so hard. I made that mistake because I didn't see where my mother was coming from. And I was thinking that, why is she thinking in this way? She's like so old-fashioned. And I told my mother, why are you being so old-fashioned? So that kind of a struggle happened because I didn't see where my mother was coming from. So I think many of us, not only our mothers, our husbands, our colleagues, we find it's so difficult. We think we're going to hurt them, and therefore we just go along, even though deep within me, I don't want to do that. Okay, Namprit. So we will have a Q&A tomorrow. So I hope there'll be more questions coming in. I will have another very short video. Let's watch that another video.
My sister did the same thing. All the chocolates that were given to her in her class, at her tuitions, she came and shared it with me. I would see Didi waking up at 4 a.m. in the morning to go and distribute newspapers to a locality far from home so that she could go unrecognized. And that money was then used towards my tuition fees. Well, Didi, she really pushed me to study really, really hard. She made sure that I stood a rank in my class. She pushed me in every possible extracurricular activity at school.
What's the observation this time? So she spoke about her sister. What did you observe this time? Her sister is also a woman. She woke up early in the morning to go to another area to distribute newspapers, and that money went to this person's tuition fees. Why did she go to another area to distribute newspapers? Of course, the sister said, so that people won't recognize her. But why? Why must I make the effort to go all the way, a distance away, because I don't want people to recognize, to see what I'm doing? I'm distributing newspapers. I don't want people to see me. What kind of a thought is that? She's doing something great here, isn't it? The sacrifice that she's making. She wants her sister to come up in life, isn't it? But why she must disguise in such a way and go to another area to distribute newspapers? Why? So can you see how the sister was also juggling between the traditional phase and the modern phase? The modern phase says, go, fight, do it. We need to do something for the sister. But the traditional phase says, if I go and distribute newspapers and people see me doing that, what are they going to say? Society, this fear of society. And I'm sure we all have the same ideas going on in our mind all the time. I'm going to end my question for everyone. Which face do I wear? And who am I at this moment of time? A certain percentage maybe. Most of the time, I seem to be more of the modern phase thinking mindset. Or most of the time, I'm at the traditional phase mindset. Ask yourself, which phase do I wear at this moment? Another important question I would like to ask you, are any of these phases wrong? Is it wrong? If I want to be a traditional phase all the while, is it wrong? Someone asked a question just now, a very relevant question. But will I be stuck in a traditional phase till the end? That depends on the individual, that depends on your situation. If your situation, remember I said my friend who's so comfortable with her life, she's so happy being a traditional phase woman. She has no qualms about it. She thinks she can die peacefully because everything is taken care of for her. She just has to listen and say yes to everything. But any of these phases, is it wrong? No, they are not. They are not wrong. Why? Because remember, every phase is a strategy for us to cope with our situation. We are very smart. The wisdom within us tells us that, hey, at this moment, play along, be the traditional phase. Or at this moment, no, I think at this moment, this is what I want to do. The modern phase comes in. So every phase, there's nothing wrong there, there's nothing right there. It depends on your situation. It is a strategy that we use to cope with our situation. However, both the traditional and the modern phase women, they have a lot of external factors influencing them. Society, rules, my expectation, their expectations, a lot of external factors. So what's wrong with that? What's wrong with the external factors? External factors change all the time. So if my peace and my happiness is going to be so dependent on all the external factors, and these external factors are going to change all the time, what's going to happen? Every time it changes, my true self fluctuates. I also become unstable. Every time they change, I need to change my ways to adapt to that situation. So that is why you find that the traditional and modern phase woman cannot really experience the peace and the happiness from within for a long time. You may experience it for some time, but after that, you'll be so tired. Remember, trying to prove to the world that what you said is right. You're trying to prove and prove and prove. And then you're going to be so tired. And when the society, the way people think change, something within me changes too. And then the fluctuations. So I think that I've come to the end of my presentation. And we hope that all of us are quite clear how the modern phase woman works, how her mindset, what she really thinks about, how she thinks, how she looks at society, how she looks at herself. And we will move on to the next phase after this with Sister Rosa. Om Shanti. We will have a short break, half an hour break, and then we will see you again after that. Om Shanti.
Thank you for coming back. So how do you feel now, Diana? You look like a powerhouse now.
Yes, yes, yeah. I am powered and I feel happy and I'm waiting for more.
Once again, beautiful, powerful ladies, thank you for spending your powerful weekend with us. Remember that I am Shakti. I have all the powers to be who I am truly. With
So, Michelle, what's the mother face again for you?
come again.
What's the mother face for you?
Face for me, I think modern one.
Okay. And what about the Shakti face, Michelle?
Shakti face. Definitely something to look into.
Okay, we will find it out soon. Let's invite Sister Rosa, who is also joining us from Singapore for the presentation on the Shakti face. Welcome, Sister.
Thank you, Dana, and thank you, Michelle. Let me put on my headphone. Sometimes you can't really hear my voice. So to those who are in the gallery, welcome back. I really feel very honored to be able to share with you the Shakti face. I think I've been on the Shakti face journey for quite a while, without even knowing it. And even when I first took the workshop from Caroline Ward when she came to Singapore in 2006, I wasn't very familiar with the four faces, honestly speaking. So it took me a while to really understand what's traditional face, what's modern face, what's even Shakti face, even though I've been in this knowledge for 30 years. That was 30 years ago. But as I went on, I realized that actually I skipped much of the traditional face. Some parts of me were there, but because I had a very good family, my parents are actually very understanding, respectful parents, and don't quite impose rules on us, but sometimes when it's necessary, they will do that. But because I grew up in a very loving family, I didn't really feel that I need to wear my traditional mask very much. But when I was studying and in the university, I wasn't really rebelling, but what I did, because I'm not very good in studies, so I didn't want to carry on into university. But my father and my mother said, you must, because it's good to study more. They didn't have such a thing that women shouldn't study or girls shouldn't study. In fact, my mother was the one who actually championed her right as a daughter to study, amongst her brothers. So you can say that in my family, my parents are in the modern phase, but they are not very gung-ho, rebelling against rules and so on. So they're actually quite balanced, I must say. So we four children grew up in a very loving family, and until today we are loving, but we are not like clingy attached to each other. So whenever we need help, we can call upon each other. So that kind of relationship gives all of us a lot of independence to actually fulfill what we wanted to do. And I won't be surprised that all four of us could be, I say four of us because there are two boys, two girls. And that's just now Dimple was asking whether four faceless also apply to the men or not. I think it does. So I have been brought up very nicely by my parents. It's only when I was growing up then I start thinking that certain things, certain rules, is like what Sister Prima mentioned, doesn't seem to be right for me when I step out into the world. And then that thing clashed with my family rules, so that's why I have some struggle there. Other than that, I'm quite all right. But now my own journey, if I can just share with you all, is I have actually gone into a phase where I'm getting a little deeper into my own eternal self, my eternal phase. So much of the time, my struggle is not so much with the people outside, but it's the internal struggle. And that internal struggle comes from all the old baggages, the old impressions, the old stories that I've kept that I didn't want to face, or I didn't have the courage to face, or didn't think that it's necessary to face. But when I felt about maybe 10 years ago, it blocked me from getting closer to the divine, then I started asking myself, why is it that I couldn't love God the way that I should be loving Him? And then I started looking within myself to find the answers. And it was all because of all those, I wouldn't say qualities, they are actually imprints, like Dimple says, sanskars, imprints that we have actually gathered along the way, and it's all based on negativities. So it's like anger, frustration, your greed, your ego, your arrogance. So when I was actually going through my career, the modern phase came. So I think I could have accumulated some kind of negative patches with people. So it didn't sit well with myself, and I didn't want to resolve it with them. So it was like I was sitting it right inside. But that blocked the heart. Because if I really want to be a Shakti, a true Shakti who has to operate based on your own truth, you really have to love yourself. So when actually Sister Muda was going through the modern phase, the modern phase woman has lots of anger in her. And the anger sometimes comes from the arrogance that I am right, so I want to do it this way. But as soon as I realized that that actually couldn't make me move further in my spiritual growth, that I begin to check myself. And this is where the Shakti phase comes in. The Shakti begin to realize that you don't have all the power. In fact, when my two brothers, they were Christians, very young time, and they told me and said, "Sister, come to church with us." And I said, "I don't need God. I can solve all my problems, so I'm okay." See how arrogant I was, not to depend on God. And I didn't believe in the divine. So that struggle came on until about 10 years ago, when I realized that I couldn't move forward in my spiritual growth, that I started looking deeper. And I'm so happy that day by day, I'm actually moving closer to loving the divine himself. So I'm having good experiences with him, and I have touches of love from him, and I'm very happy with that. So let me now start, after sharing this much. Shall we have the PowerPoint on, please? Thank you. Okay. You're going to start from the top. See, I give them trouble. Thank you so much, Tech Team. I know, yeah, give you so short time to do this. Okay, my pleasure to present to you the Shakti phase, the way that I know it, and I journeyed in this way. Much of what actually I have presented here, or I have done this planning, is based on Caroline Ward's book, and she actually took major bulk of her learning and her journey from the Brahma Kumaris also. So, okay, let's move on. The next one is welcome to all of you. The Shakti. The Shakti is to reclaim her true self. filled with joy and at peace. Yes, next. So welcome once again to every one of you. Technique, move on, yeah. Okay, I show these 4 faces again just to give us a broader picture, but subsequently in my presentation, you will be seeing only 3 faces, all right? So like it is here, the eternal face, which is her own true self, right from the start, and journeying through the traditional modern to the Shakti phase. And in the Shakti phase, she's supposed to claim back her own eternal because she realized that the traditional modern actually didn't really help her very much. I'm going to journey through the traditional modern fast because you already heard it. I don't know if this will bore you all again. Unless you don't have, and you're not clear, then you type in the chat box and I'll see whether I can answer the questions or not. Just a little bit I want to tell you all. Whenever I do any presentation, I do because I want to share and not over deliver. So I really beg you all to stay with me, try to understand a little deeper what I'm trying to present down here, because you're going to take back a lot. Many people say that when you're doing PowerPoint, you should only have 5. And I said, if the audience is 35, they may not take all 5. Only a handful will take 1 or 2 points, but I got 20. So I say, if I share 20, all those who are actually in the gallery, you can pick more than 1 or 2. And this is what I believe in over delivering. And because I really want you all, my spiritual sisters, to take as much benefit as possible as I have taken, so that we can journey on together. You can also go through whatever you're going through you don't like today, you find some answers and do something about it. And when you want to do something about it, don't do it out of fear, but do it because you really feel very comfortable after hearing today's presentation that this is the right thing for me to do. So this is where this is my goal, and this is actually my thought, and it's my pure wish that actually you arrive at that space. So anyway, let's continue, please. So let's spend a few moments to recollect your thoughts and feelings. Here, I would like you to take pen, paper. If you don't have pen, paper, never mind. Just your WhatsApp, anyhow. But there are 3 questions I'm going to ask you. And I want you to have the answer so that when you actually journey through this presentation, have it clearly in your mind whether you're actually getting your answers or not. If not, then there may be something that I didn't cover for you. You just make sure that you ask the question, or else you have another chance at the Q&A tomorrow, okay? Can I have the first question, please? First, what were your thoughts and your feelings after you heard this morning's presentation on traditional phase and in the afternoon modern phase? Pen down your thoughts and feelings after you heard it. Some of you, when you actually hear it, it sounds like it's you. How did you feel when you hear it all over again? What sort of feelings do you have? Jot it down. I'll give you some time. Next question. Next question. Are these thoughts that you have still the same when you came into the Zoom room just now? Or they're different? In other words, from during the half an hour tea break, did you process some of your thoughts? And if you did and they're different, any reasons for the difference? Jot down. Take your time. It's a very important step in your journey today. Next question, please. Whatever you have understood so far about the Shakti phase, I know you haven't got an accurate understanding yet, but from hearing all those three presenters earlier on, you know Shakti phase is someone who in the end empowered herself with her own truth. And with those powers, she was able to become independent. So, having understood this broad brush, what do you think this Shakti phase can then present to you a difference in your present life or not? That's it. Do you think it can help you? Take a moment to think about it. At the moment where you are, if you're not so happy with yourself, what is it that you want to know? What is it that you really have to get rid of? What is it that you really need to take on board? And you have heard from the eternal phase that the truth of the eternal phase is based on the 7 qualities. So if you find that you're in your traditional phase, you have to fight quite a bit, modern phase, all the more you're challenging, then what is missing in your life at that time that make you feel so upset with people and maybe start blaming other people than actually looking into yourself? So write down what you think you want. Some may say that I want some power, I want courage, I want people to respect me more, or whatever that you have in mind, just write it down first. And after writing it down, what is the difference that will make in your life? What's the difference? Even though you say that you want to share this with others, even sharing it only with your family members is also serving them too. You don't have to look for the outer world to actually have play cards, and do all those stuff, or sitting in United Nations and tell the whole world what to do. We don't really need to think that way. What is important is whatever I have learned, I'm able to share, and I'm able to rub off other people the goodness that you have received. A few more minutes I give you. Right. So the last line says be specific. Can you show that line? Yeah. The more specific you are, the better it will be for you. Then you understand very clearly your own thoughts, all right? If we get very general, then generality will not help us. That's the reason why Sister Dimple mentioned that try your very best to jot down your notes in the notebook that she actually has painstakingly compiled for you all. But at the same time, jot down your notes if you have, or you need extra pages. Okay, let's move on. Thank you so much for your thoughts, but please have these answers with you, especially the last one. Let's have the next slide. Recap the traditional phase and the modern phase. Here, I'm going to go very fast. So tag team, you just move on, okay? I don't mind even though I miss a few lines. Yeah. This has been what you have been seeing all along. So actually it's moving from I am who you say I am to I am not who you say I am. That is actually what is the yo-yo, the conflict is. Next one. Next one. Traditional phase, just a recap. Move on. Move on. She's limited by the rules, by the people outside. And her thought is, move on, just move on. I am who you say I am. So they are defined by the external expectations, rules, norms, obligations. All right? So they are externally defined. My behavior, my thoughts, my feelings, everything, I am nothing. I have no identity. It's other people who actually dictate how it should be. So they're very limited and they are bound. So what do? In order to be protected, like what Sister Prima said to us, to be protected, to have the security, to feel belong, that's where she pleases and she appeases other people also, just to make sure that she is herself safe, as just as they plan it to be. All right, next one, please. So she felt in prison, she got to conform. So next. The modern phase. Okay, pause for a while. Look at this picture. Like Sister Dimple said, we actually sat down, took a lot of pains to choose the face that really represent the face itself. When we look at this one, we thought that the anger comes from the eye of that woman, and the bit of something on her right side of the face, we saw it as a glass. And that reminds us of the glass ceiling that most women wanted to break through because they feel that is a man's world. Why should they be equal to them? So we thought that is a very good picture to depict a modern face woman. Please move on. She's blinded and lost. Yeah. So, modern face is one who says that I am not who you say I am. I don't believe that actually I am what you say I am. I am actually what I am. Of course, her meaning of I am is coming from breaking herself out of that imprisonment that she actually experienced. Next, please. So, at this time, just pause a while, please, Techie. At this time, the external makes no sense to her anymore. And that's why she gets angry, she questions, she challenges, she reasons, anything she wants to do just to make sure that she can preserve her own identity. So as she fought on, she became so blinded and lost in wanting to preserve her own self. Next technique. So prompted by this external, she defended herself. And she defended her desires, her rights, her freedom, and as the sense of self, that ego steps in, she begins to feel trapped. And then she realized, I got to do something. So she started to change rules, and she even made rules based on what she thinks is the right thing for her, just to keep herself independent. No one can come and actually do anything to me. So, yes, next one. Back to this, you can go on the next slide, the next one, yeah, okay now. So from here, the traditional and the modern phase, the woman actually had passed on to the next one. Now in the modern phase, she's beginning to feel a little uncomfortable and tired of herself. And that's where she started looking for some other options to help herself to preserve her power. So from the modern phase, she wants to move up to become her powerful self, but she needs something to happen within herself in order to progress into the Shakti phase known as the empowered phase. And that empowered phase says that I have all the power within me which I was not aware of. And now that I'm aware, I know I can actually access it. But to know means you must have the knowledge, the know-how, and who is the one who can actually give me that kind of power. So next one, please, Taki. So we move on to this Shakti phase. Pause for a while. Okay, I love this picture when actually they found it because I like the vibrancy of the colors. And although a Shakti actually is powerful on her own truth, it sounds like very soft power, but really that particular woman, because she has that powerful inner self, her inner worth shines out. So in her life, everything that she did is vibrant, it is exciting, and she enjoys life. And even though she may have her own family, she may have some other people she's at work whatsoever, but all those externals which one time she felt blocked her, now she included all these things into her life. And because you include, you find you're okay, you're comfortable. It's because you push things out. You push out, they push in. So this push up and down, that's where your effort is. And you don't like it at all. And that's where you get very exhausted in this fight to find your own identity. So the Shakti really is reclaiming her true self, filled with joy and at peace with herself. Next. Next. Yes, go to the full, yeah. Continue, yeah. So the Shakti phase. This is what Caroline summarized it to be. It is a phase that awakens your original power. And this is the original power of the beginning, which is the eternal phase. And this is the Shakti phase that's going to transform you, the modern phase, or even the traditional phase woman, to your own true self, your own true eternal self. When we were actually planning this discussion, I was thinking that even though someone may be in traditional phase and maybe very little about modern phase, I feel that someone can actually adopt the Shakti phase. Because if you feel that there are certain things about your traditional phase that you don't like, but you're actually keeping to yourself, but it's murmuring inside your heart, you're not very happy, then you find that, how I wish. And then you wish, maybe you pray to God, because traditional phase, you believe in God. You pray to God, and then God answered you. And so therefore, you get some answers how to actually move your life in such a way that you're still within the traditional norms of the family, but now you're happy. You're accepting your role. And in accepting your role, you are doing it because you know you want to do it. Not because you feel that you're forced, you're pressured, you're told to do. No, there's a lot of difference. So I can be in a traditional phase. But if I really want to be comfortable, then I need to tell myself, I have to make up my mind to accept the situation. Once I accept the situation, you are including everyone into yourself. And this inclusion is not, I need to please you, that's why I include you into my life. No. This inclusion is because you are thinking larger now. The Shakti phase inclusion is, I would like everyone to benefit from my power, my truth. And this is where it will go out. This is where my benevolence is. So a traditional woman and wearing a traditional face, hopefully, even though you have a little bit of the modern face that you want to break rules, that now you come to a point to tell yourself that won't work anymore. The best is to move into your own space and find your own truth. And I'm going to walk you through this. This whole session is a lot of practical, so that you know how to apply the Shakti phase. Okay, so you have to walk with me. There are many meditation commentaries that I'm going to help you through. So understand, Shakti phase is the phase. In fact, the one phase that is the truest of all the four phases is your eternal phase. Your eternal phase is your true phase. So it's truly your phase. The rest of it, I call it the mask. We are putting on a mask to pretend. When I was in the traditional phase, I also put on mask in a way to tell people. But that mask, in the end, you tell yourself, I want to take it away. I want to tell people that this is me. You have to see me as I am. But that me as I am is actually a very subtle mask that even the modern phase woman may not even realize that all the power that she has comes from her own anger. And that anger and that love or peace is two different things altogether, two different motivations altogether. And we all know, just look in the world today, when someone is actually very angry, whether it's woman or man. And if you were to act based on that anger, the consequence is really very bad for us. So you know already, if I were to work based on anger, the outcome, maybe you won't see it now, but further down the line, you will see it. And then you start asking yourself, what happened? If you know what happened, address it, change it. But there are some who don't quite know. Like me, I was actually not clear about some of the things that actually was going through my mind. And I tried meditation, but it didn't help me until I really sat down. Okay, that was another story I'll tell you later. So let's go with this first. The Shakti phase is to awaken your own original power, which is all the while inside us. We could have used it wrongly based on, I call it the negativities, or some of us would call it the 5 vices. The vices will be your ego, your anger, your greed, and your lust, and so on, right? Lust is not so much the sexual lust that we're actually talking, because the definition of lust is very broad. Sex lust is only one end of the spectrum. Actually, lust is desire, like. If you say, I like this, you feel like possessing it. Once you possess it, you want to hold on to it. And then when someone takes it away, or when there's something actually broke or damaged, then you get very hurt. That's because you possess it. So that is not a real Shakti phase, all right? It's more the traditional or the modern phase. So this is a phase that's going to help you change yourself to arrive at your own real self. Okay, so that's where the loop comes back again. Next one, please. So, what is the thought of a Shakti phase woman? She now realizes she has the power within herself to be who she really is. Someone please tag team. She realized that all the never-ending cycles of conforming and reforming is like a whirlwind, you know. You are chasing after your own tail in a way, and you're not getting anywhere. So that's where the frustration and the tiredness and even the exhaustion came in. So this is where I want to share that story that I would say. Because I was going through a bad patch in my life, I thought at that time I could resolve it myself. But as it went on, I didn't know the answer. And as I told you, I didn't believe in God at all. So when I was really, really in my really desperate moment, I could even feel my own feeling at that time. I feel that all those problems, the struggles, the negative emotions I have in here, it's like it's bursting out. It wants to burst out, but it just couldn't. And I feel so trapped. And I didn't like that feeling at all. And I didn't know what to do, because every time I try to move out of it, I can't. So it was in a very desperate moment where I really didn't know what to do, that I yelled out from the heart and said, God, if you ever exist, you're going to get me out of this. And as soon as I said that, because at that moment I have just let go and give in. The answer didn't come immediately, but I can feel a relief, a sense of like the whole rock dropped, my burden dropped. And all those things that was trapped down here, I didn't feel it anymore. Of course, it's God helping me, but it took me a while to really like appreciate it. Okay, so it starts from somewhere where I didn't really know God to somewhere now I need to understand God more. So for Shaktis, most of the Shaktis, they will come to the dead end, so to speak, first. And that's the time when they say, I let go. Once you let go and you allow a larger force to come into your life, that is going to help you to replenish all those that you have lost in your traditional and modern phase, and bring you right back to your own self-worth, your own self-love, and your own self-esteem. So, tag team, please. So you have to let go. Okay, you cannot hold on to it. You hold on to it like modern phase. You hold on to it. You got to let go and allow your own real self to come out. So when you let go, You are now hearing your inner voice talking to you. And that inner voice may tell, hey, all those times you're saying all those things, those people are, the way you see, you are criticizing them, you are teasing them, taunting them. All these things are your strategies to make yourself more powerful, more superior than someone. So you use such words. And these words hurt other people. So those other people, when they hear it, they become inferior. And then you feel superior in the end. But those are strategies of the modern phase because it didn't come from a clean heart. So when the Shakti or about to be Shakti realize that she cannot be the one to help herself out, and that is where she really totally let go, then the conscience which had been numbed for a long time, because modern phase, anger, ego, everything, you know the best what. So even though the little tiny voice at the back of your mind talking to you, say, don't go that way, you say, why not? Cannot lah. I want to go. You will say like this. So you numbed the conscience. But as soon as you let go, you allow your conscience now to be your guide. Actually, our conscience is our very best friend. Why? Because we all know the meaning of conscience. Conscience is to tell me what is the right thing to do. It's my compass. It's my purpose. So when I allow my conscience to guide me, definitely I will be traveling the right path. So when I allow my conscience to help me now, to guide me, my conscience is my friend. My conscience stays with me through life. So if I ignore this friend of mine and making him the enemy, which I did in the traditional and the modern phase, then I am not actually gaining anything out of this companionship. But now that I realize the conscience is the one that actually has a connection to actually the divine. The divine, we all know, he is the truth. He is the one who gives unconditional love. He is the one who actually has all the power and the peace and so on. It's my conscience that's connected to him. So if I get in touch with this conscience and allow my conscience to talk to me, I know I can go somewhere. And that is the moment when she starts to decide, transform. Next, please. So she reclaims her true self, her power within, she became the Shakti. So I want to revise just on this here. I only mentioned truth, love, peace, happiness, and power. But we don't have, I left out actually bliss and so on because I was just writing a very few lines down there. But your real truth is you are back to your own qualities again. So the real power, the real truth of an eternal phase is all within you. It's your treasures all within you. It's not on the outside. Because the outside in the end will change all your qualities into what? Anger, frustration, fight back, backbiting or something like that. So because other people, they are also influenced by other people of the negativities. So how can you gain much from them? So it's only through my inner power and my truth that I'm able to get back my own real worth again. Take him, please. So she regains her true self. So the Shakti phase is a spiritual power of self-empowerment. You empower yourself, but of course, with the help of the divine. We cannot miss it out. Next, please. Roll up more. Yeah, just pause. Thank you. It's okay. Just do what you do. Yeah. So here I tell myself, if I'm going to actually explain a bit more about Shakti, you will get to understand more. So I call it characteristics of a Shakti phase. When you read this, you can also ask yourself, is this what I was looking for just now when I give the answer to I actually have certain feelings and I'm looking for something. I'm looking for some quality. I'm looking for some power. I'm looking for some specialities or looking for something. As you hear the characteristics of a Shakti phase, ask yourself, is this what that's ringing true for me? Okay, then you'll find it. So the first is The Shakti is inspired by her own truth, her own destiny, her own desire to return to her own real self. She makes choices, but those choices, I would say it is informed choices. It's based on all my past experiences in the Shakti, in the traditional and the modern phase. I bump into so many problems. I don't call that anymore obstacles. To me, they become learning lessons for me. Once I actually learn lessons, I no longer fight those obstacles. I don't even want to tell myself, I don't want to even think about it, as if like the past is so hurtful, which at one time was like this for me. But as soon as I address it and I tell myself, no, I need to face the truth. And once I face the truth, there's no hurt. I didn't want to face it because every time I face it, the hurt comes back. Face it, the hurt comes back. But when I decided to face it, and this time I really, really pulled divine along with me. And I said that I want to get through this. Otherwise, I wouldn't be able to love you more than actually I should. So when I actually faced the truth of what was going on inside me, when I take that step to come close to what is the so-called obstacle, and when it lifted up, it's nothing. It's a small little thing that blew it up so much. And then when I realized such a small thing, and I was telling myself it's going to be hurtful, I was the one who blew up all these things. Why? Because when I'm in traditional phase, I keep on thinking so much about how these people treat me, how that person treat me. I actually repeated those sorrow inside me. The more often I repeat the sorrow, the more the sorrow will stay with me. So when it accumulates so much, and I don't have that power to actually bring myself down, of course, it will sit with me. And I find that, it's very difficult. It's hurtful. Because you tell yourself it's hurtful, it becomes hurtful. Do you know that we are actually putting poison into ourselves by actually having this kind of toxic thoughts? So let's be wise. Now that you know what the truth is, it is me who's hurting myself. Let me not be the one. Let me be the friend of myself. So that's the reason why the Shakti is able to make informed choices. And that informed choices or decision is based on her wisdom, her maturity, and her experiences that she went through in the modern phase, as Sister Moda mentioned just now. Because she went through it, in the end she bumped into, and then she realized that, it's difficult, it's exhausting. And then she realized, and that's where her wisdom comes in. And her courage to face herself starts all over again. The courage was to fight other people at one time, but now she has to face herself. And it took him a long while to really want to face it. So once I decided, it's no longer hurtful. Any other obstacle that come my way now, sorry, what's this? How to stop toxic thoughts that come to us. Okay, I will talk about it as I go on. So toxic thoughts are those like anger, frustration, jealousy, and so on. Those are toxic thoughts, okay? So if you keep on keeping it inside you, it will hurt your body in the end, your health and all that will hurt you. And it will also hurt your feelings too. So that's a short answer for you. All right, next one. So the conscience actually helps you to make up your mind what you need to do. Your informed choices based on your experience. At the same time, your inner voice tells you, this is where I'm going to guide you now. Trust it, because it's guided by the divine. So the next thing that the Shakti always love is silence. Because she realized now all the external, the extroversion, the outside world is so much noise. And where do I have the time to really think about myself, to really understand myself? And this is where busy woman, busy man, they always like do this, do that. So many things they do, running around a lot, They don't have time for themselves. And when they don't have time for themselves, you become short-fused. And so you get more angry with people. And you wanted certain things your way, your expectation. Others are not actually doing it for you. you get pretty upset. So, and it is not helpful for someone to be too busy. Don't stay in the extroversion all the time. Learn to go within, turn within. When we say turn within, doesn't mean that you go mad. Turn within here means that I do not now want to focus my attention on the outside world. If you need to pay attention to your children, your husband, or your relatives or something, and you have to do that, you do it. That is necessary. You cannot say, I don't want to do it this time because I want my own self-time. Then you become a modern face. A Shakti face is always balanced. When I need to do something that's going to serve me, but at that time when I wanted it, somebody else demand my time, this is what I practice. When I have the students come and they talk to me, even though I'm very busy at that time, I will stop what I do and I'll attend to the student. I will tell them half an hour. Sometimes it take me an hour or so with them, but they walk away happier. And that gives me a lot of joy. Why? Because I feel that I'm investing in someone. And that investment is not investment, but in the end, I'm expecting a return. That investment in someone is to help that someone grow. So when that someone leaves me with a smile on the face and a satisfaction in the heart, contentment, I really feel good. I feel so blessed that actually the divine had actually used this as an instrument to help another one. So go into silence as much as you can and turn inward. When you turn inward, observe your thoughts, observe your feelings. Not all the time we are thinking positive. We all know, sometimes we sit down here, we are not doing anything, some thoughts will come. And if you're not paying attention to the thoughts, you just go wow. But to be silent and introspective is not an idle hobby. It's to us is a practice. You have to keep yourself busy, not so much a lot of thoughts that run in your mind, but the busyness is in terms of what thoughts should I create that should actually help me benefit myself and benefit other people. But first, must benefit myself, not in the selfish way. Because if I want to help other people and I'm not 100% full, how am I going to help other people? It's the same as traditional faith. The woman wanted to help the children, wanted to help wanted to help, but she didn't know how because she's not accumulating. She's not. She every time would be outside pleasing other people rather than pleasing herself first. The Shakti face would please herself first. And in so saying please, it is more like pay attention to myself first, is that meaning. When I say you have to look within, is to pay attention to your own thoughts. In situations nowadays, fresh things may come to you as an obstacle, or it could be a past things that actually come to you. And when you realize it was some past incidences that you have actually forgotten, but now it has come to revisit you. At that time, how are you going to address it? And a Shakti face is one who uses her maturity and her experience of the past to help her. So when I have these obstacles that come in front of me, do I push it away? If I do, I'm back to traditional or modern face. But if I tell myself, I'm going to now hold on to the bull's horn and I'm going to actually get it through. And when you hold on to the bull's horn, the bull will fight you, of course. But if you're being nice to the bull will be nice to you. So in the end, who wins? Both wins. The bull will just let go of you. And you also let go. So both win-win. It's a collaboration in the end. So a Shakti face believes in collaboration and not compromising, although sometimes you may compromise, but even though the Shakti face compromise, she knows why she compromised. She compromises not because, oh, I have to give in, otherwise they're not going to be happy with me, otherwise I don't get promotion. Now that is not Shakti face. That is, I'm not accepting the situation. Then you're back to modern face. However, if let's say you don't get a promotion Am I big-hearted enough to go up to the one who actually got the promotion and congratulate that person? It's because I have a clean heart. I have so much love within me because eternal face is love. Shakti face is moving on to it. Shakti face is a strategy. Okay, traditional, modern, Shakti is a strategy to move back to eternal. So a Shakti will have love, will have respect, which comes from love, will have compassion and mercy, which comes from love. So love is the fundamental quality of the eternal self. There's 7, you already learned it in the eternal phase. I'm going to walk you through later too, so that you can remember. So all those things I talk about, compassion, mercy, caring, love, responsible, respect, they all come as virtues from the root of love. Virtues are the quality that we have within us that's manifested through our actions, our behavior. So we call that virtues. So human beings got plenty virtues, all right? We only need to pack within us the soul or the eternal self, only these 7 qualities. You only need to increase these 7 qualities. Good enough already, okay? It's not going to be bad work. So now turn within, check your thoughts, check your feelings, check your responses. Like I said just now, if I react, I'm back to modern phase. If I respond, the response has to come from the base of your 7 qualities. Must. Otherwise, I am not perpetuating my Shakti phase. All right? So don't look at other people in the sense of comparing with them or belittling them or thinking that they are they ought to be shot, for actually coming to my way or something. No reaction. Reaction comes from the negative. Respond. Because responsibility is, you break the word, it means responsibility. It's my ability to respond from the Shakti phase, which is your eternal phase. Right? Tag team, next one, please. So, proactively transforming yourself, transforming your thoughts, benefit yourself, and be able to share with others. And all through silence. And when I say silence, I'm not saying 5 hours of silence. No. The practice of silence that we learn here in Brahma Kumaris is, even though I'm with a group of you all, let's say no more lockdown, we'll come together. We have a gathering. I can go within and be with myself, even though I'm actually with 40 over you with me. Because when I go within, nobody knows. And when I go within, I only know I'm going back into my inner world. I'm still with you, I'm standing with you, but I go into my inner world. Why? When I go into my inner world, I replenish my energy. I replenish my qualities. Now, our qualities are not 100% full potential yet. That's the reason why sometimes, even though we may be like 60, 70 in our Shakti phase, some moment will come and then you're just off mood at that time. That time, the Shakti, the traditional phase and the modern phase will come and will run after you. And you will respond with those 2 phases. Because at that time, you were off guard. But for a traditional phase or even a modern phase, for them to come back from where they had dropped, let's say, they come back, they get very moody, they get very upset themselves, they beat their heads and so on. That is the other 2 phases. But for the Shakti, when she knew that she had actually fallen, oh, why am I so stupid, go and actually get myself caught up in this negativity. She would then tell herself, okay, I learned a lesson, bounce back, immediate, so that I'm not allowing 1 more minute of the traditional phase or the modern phase to plant some more in my memory bank. Then I will not have the negativities. Okay? So the Shakti is one who embraces change. Tati, please. So she's matured experienced, wise, beyond reactions, and she responds from the power of her inner voice. Next, please. It's through her conscience, her connection with the divine. So you can say she's authentic, genuine, truthful, honest. Authentic means I'm real. Where is the reality? It's my experience. My experience has become my authority that I can share with you my journey. I'm sure most of you have your own stories also, how you actually gone through certain phases in your life and what you've learned out of it. That becomes your authority of experience. When I look back, when I was actually doing my Shakti phase practices, and I look back at all those mistakes that I made, when I look back in the beginning, I used to get very angry in myself. I feel so shameful. I feel very remorseful and so on. Guilt is the one thing is really, really don't feel guilty, okay? Guilt is the one that actually started in the traditional phase. Then when we're in the modern phase, a bit of the guilt comes, but the modern phase woman is so powerful that the ego just shadow it. You don't even know it. But sometimes we do have that. So when I was actually practicing this Shakti phase, I said, I'm feeling guilty over this thing. And when I look at it, it's like, I don't want to go there, you know. Then I said, no, if I don't want to go there, I won't be able to resolve this issue. I said, no, I got to go. So when I look into it, and I tell myself I feel guilty. Now, if you want to know how you want to get out of it, what I usually tell myself is, okay, I did this mistake. It was actually not right for me to do it. I admit it to myself. It's not right for me to do it. Forgive yourself first. If you don't forgive yourself, you will hit yourself a lot. That's how we beat ourselves, right? So then we become so powerful and you say, oh, this is not right. No, you should be doing this way. Then you say, oh, I build up my ego some more again. But if I look at that problem, I look at my mistake squarely and address it, admit that I have done something wrong. Forgive yourself first. Forgive yourself for having made that mistake. This is a very important point. Once you forgive yourself, your guilt reduced. If that particular incident actually has something to do with someone else also, because you say certain things and you feel guilty now, you can do two things. You can go up to that soul and then tell the soul, I am really very sorry. I use the word soul is because now I'm seeing it as an eternal face. All right? I'm not seeing the body at all. So go up to that person and say, I'm sorry. Sometimes the person may even have forgotten the incident, but you've been holding on to it for years and years and years. So in the end, when sometimes someone says, did you do that? I didn't realize it. Then I tell myself, why am I so stupid holding on to all these things? And stupidity is because it stopped me from growing. And I really get angry with myself. So learn from it. So as soon as I realize that, oh, sometimes I'm sitting in meditation, a thought will come out. And then I will observe, in silence, observe the thought. And I say, this comes from some guilt story somewhere, but I can't recall where. So I say, okay, park it aside first. Let me continue with my meditation. When I finish it, sometimes I've forgotten, sometimes it will come up again or float up. And that's the time I will address it. And in addressing, I will ask myself, at that time, when I did that wrong act, what made me do it? And what made me do it usually is the missing virtue or power. If at that time someone says something to me, and instead of staying peaceful at that time, I scold back, I reacted. Then I realized I should have been peaceful. I should have been more patient. I should have been more trying to understand someone. So now you learn. Based on that particular incident I did wrong, now I learned, I apologize to myself, I'm no longer feeling guilty. I learned that I now need to increase acceptance, understanding, appreciation of someone, or even patience, or even peace. See, just from that one particular mistake I made, I learned 5 things that I need to imbibe for myself. And these 5 things is to help me to grow my Shakti phase. Isn't that wonderful? So you don't really need a tutor or a coach, really. You just need to coach yourself. and your main coach is the divine or your conscience. These are the two best coaches. So if I realize that whatever mistake I made, when people say mistake is like such a big thing, it's like big sin and make you feel so small, you have to tell yourself, don't listen to them. You know you made a mistake, get out of it. When I say get out of it, means don't sit in your misery anymore. Just tell yourself, what was my missing link to my 7 qualities of my eternal face? Because if I don't resolve it, I cannot go right back to my eternal face. There'll still be some gaps elsewhere. So do that, okay? So I hope I answered just now the sister's question. So then the Shakti face is authentic, genuine, truthful, honest, because you now are able to face yourself. Once you face yourself, it's the truth already. And you know truth is your partner, truth is going to be your companion throughout your whole life. Okay. And we know God is truth. Next, please, Tati. Just now I talk about characteristics, right? I asked myself, how am I going to know whether I'm in Shakti phase? How am I going to explain to someone that you are actually in Shakti phase? So I need to have words that can describe it. So these are some of the words that actually pop up in Caroline Ward's book, plus some of the words that I myself felt is aligned to actually a Shakti phase. Please, Takim. The first one is empower yourself. I've said a lot just now already. It's because you face your truth, you face yourself, you empower yourself. Okay, you build power within yourself with the help of the divine. Secondly is self-worth. To be honest, I have been on this journey of finding myself ever since I was 22 years old. That's the time when I started looking for spirituality, honestly, while I was still in my modern phase. So I went to this particular group, and that group is like Bible group, but it's not really talking about Bible. They were actually a Buddhist group, if I'm not mistaken. So I just joined them because they're talking about groups that you can learn from each other. They happen to talk about self-respect. No, self-esteem. So I asked them, what's the meaning of self-esteem? They couldn't tell me. They couldn't explain to me something that I don't understand at all. So I said, okay, I'm lost. I don't know what is self-esteem. Even though actually at work, I have a very, very good career. I was set up in the top management also in my very young age. I was not happy. Of course, my relatives, my parents are proud of me. I'm proud of my own achievement. But inside, there's no happiness. Inside, there's still something like lacking. And that's because I actually didn't love myself a lot. So even all those things outside are good. Okay, they're almost like props. They prop me up. I feel good. But when I'm really on myself and I'm on my own and there's some mistakes I made, then I realize all these things cannot help me. In fact, all these things make me even feel more ashamed or want to hide myself, because if you are so well known and then you make some mistake, people will get to know about it, right? Then where are you going to put your face? So to be well known is not that great after all. So in the end, when I came to the Brahma Kumaris, it's not the first day I learned self-respect. I learned about myself, but the respect came in when I realized that I am this eternal self. If I actually don't come back to my eternal self, I'm not loving myself. So if I don't love myself, where am I going to respect myself? And the most important thing is respect myself first. Then when I increase my respect, I'm able to respect other people. Then I won't quarrel with them. I won't fight with them. Even though they want it, let it be. I'm not interested. But if you are really in your true self-respect, your own humility, the humility is not a humility that you kowtow, not that kind. Your humility is because you're so full inside you with all those 7 potential qualities. You're so full that even though you don't have it, it doesn't really matter, because I got my happiness. And this happiness is beyond description. It's beyond measurement. When people talk about happiness, they will tell you, I'm happy because I'm married to a nice husband. I'm married to a nice family. I'm very rich. I'm wealthy. I got cars. Or this. They measure happiness based on material things. Yes, they will have temporary happiness, but will they have permanent happiness? Another thing. Because what happens one day, some of those disappeared. Then where is your happiness? Then goes with it. So it's very important for us now to connect back into our internal world, which is where your self is, and increase your 7 qualities. Your 7 qualities are your truth. Your 7 qualities are your self-worth. Okay? 7 qualities are your self-worth. The 7 qualities are your self-esteem. And it's because, let's say, I didn't know how to love. My love is actually possessive love. Okay? You belong to me. So you only belong to me. You cannot look at somebody else. If you do, I'm not going to be happy with you. So that's possessive love. It's not unconditional love. So when I have that kind of love, and even though the person is not purposely wanting to look, I will start imagining things. That's where you get jealous wives, right? They start imagining things. And then one thing after another, imagination. Even though it's nothing at all, becomes a big thing. Where did her happiness go? She's rich, let's say. She got a loving husband. She didn't know how to appreciate anymore. Just because she had this thing that she planted into her own mind, she looked at another woman. I saw his eyes went there. Okay, so I planted the thought down here. And it started growing. Growing, never mind, it festooned. And then become toxic. And that's where the relationship between husband and wife breaks. It's all because of my own misconception of what I saw. So it's very dangerous, all right? So the best is, don't worry about the outside world. Even though in the end, husband want to look for somebody else, I don't care, because I have my own happiness. I have my own love. I love myself. I know divine loves me. I know that because I love myself, whoever that I serve will return my love, will return my respect that I gave them in the first place. But I didn't ask for it. They give it willingly. So, am I not rich? Am I not happy? I am. So, now you may have to rethink how to measure your own happiness. Do you measure happiness in terms of money, in terms of how nice I am, how many cars I have, how many whatever it is, how many places I travel in the world, and you start comparing with your friends? Those are the material things. It will not give us permanent happiness. I tell you, even you can trot around the whole world, 110 countries. You come back, you still feel that there's some more country that I need to go. Because in one country, you cannot be traveling all over the whole country, right? You go to some spots, then you have to come back home. And then some other time, you may have to go back to finish all the other parts again. So there are bound to be some parts which are actually not fulfilled. So self-worth cannot be based on the material world. It has to be your own 7 qualities, which is eternal faith again. Now you know why your eternal faith is so important, so valuable to every single one of us. Not just to women, it's also to men too. Because we are just spiritual beings. That's all. Next, please, Taki. Other words, the Shakti phase does the right thing even though they're going against odds based on truth of the self. Can I have the next line, please? Thank you. Thanks. The right thing vis-a-vis doing right. Very different, huh? If I say I do something right, means I'm using the right method. It's method. But if I say I do the right thing means it is the truth. And I wrote down the next line was purpose. You are operating, you are behaving, you are acting based on purpose. So you're purpose oriented. Tomorrow you will hear from one lady who talk about her own compass. And I like that very much. So purpose oriented, if I'm purpose oriented, then I know that I'm approaching my spiritual growth, and I know where I'm going, and I know that I'm actually increasing my own happiness all the time. So when I am actually purposeful in my action, then I know my intention. Sometimes we do things anyhow. We just do it because we just respond, we just react and auto. And we don't even know actually what's the intention. Sometimes the intention is good, nothing comes back to you. Sometimes it's bad, and then over a period of time, boom, something comes back. You don't understand why, where, how it happened. So when I am actually operating on purpose, and it's a spiritual purpose, I know my intention and I'm accurate. When I'm accurate, any action, any word that I speak, any interaction that I have with people will be based on accuracy. And then accuracy is based on truth. Not accuracy as in like you must be polite to people. That's what we were told as we were kids, right? Must be polite. You go to auntie's house, you must call everyone. If you don't, when you go back home, I'm going to spank you all. So that's how we were brought up, okay? So, but not that accuracy, I mean. That is important because it teaches us to be polite to someone, but it's more important than that. The accuracy is the spiritual being moving back to its eternal phase properly on the right path, on the right purpose, based on the true intention. Okay? But in order to do that, you've got to be a detached observer. In other words, I'm detached from everything. Detached here doesn't mean I don't care. It doesn't mean careless. Detached means I'm uninfluenced. I'm unaffected. That is the meaning of detached. Okay? So sometimes when you have your kids crying, and you keep on actually wanting to pacify the kid just yelling even more. At that moment, you're so frustrated. What do? You can't help it. But if you practice being detached, in other words, the child can cry, you tell the child don't cry, you keep on crying, you stay uninfluenced. Let the child cry. After a while, the child will get tired. You mean the child will cry on 100 days? Cannot what? When he gets tired, okay, then you just tell him what you want the child to do. So if I understand that I am moving on the rail of my life, allowing that rail of life to move on its rail. And that rail is going to lead me to the destination that I'm supposed to go. And that destination is my eternal self. That means I allow myself to be comfortable, to allow the divine, to allow my conscience to guide me. I don't struggle. And when I don't struggle, I will travel very nicely on the rail. And I will reach the destination very happily. But if along the way, I stop the rail, I want to jump out or something, then you are blocking yourself. And this is where on the journey to your eternal phase, you get yourself blocked. Next, please, Tati. Okay, so stay detached like a lotus flower. I'm sure you have seen lotus flower, right? Lotus flower, the flower here is very beautiful with a long stalk, and then right underneath, beneath the water will be their roots. And it's dirty, muddy water, but the lotus is so sweet and beautiful. So this is the image that we usually use when we talk about detachment. You are here, you're actually connected to everything, your family and all that, but I want to stay detached and I want to be pure. Pure means unaffected by all the negativities that are facing your family members or the world at large. I do not want myself to be influenced nor affected by it. That is the meaning of detachment. It is not stepping out of the world and go to the jungle. We don't mean that. Okay? Detachment means I'm in the world And I am with them, but I am not of them. I don't belong there. Okay. So, because I'm a detached observer, I maintain my own power, my own truth. So I am power. And I'm clear who I really am. Because you're very clear, you're not cluttered in your mind, and you know that I need to be a peaceful being. I need to be a powerful soul. I need to be a loveful soul. I need to be a happy soul. You tell yourself that. Keep on repeating it to yourself. Then you'll find that you will get back your own treasures again. Next, please. Always full of her potential qualities. Okay? Potential qualities, all the qualities 7, potential, and the potential qualities, when you're full, this is where your humility comes in. When I was, before I came into this knowledge of Raja Yoga, I thought humble means you have to count out people, beg them, that kind. That was actually the meaning that was we all take from the world. But the meaning of humility, the real meaning of it is, you just imagine, all of you now, you visualize yourself. You are now 100% full of all the 7 qualities, 100% full. And then you have someone who comes and say, you got to kneel down to me. You have to. And he gave a reason to you. And you know that maybe the circumstance is such that if you don't do it, you are going to like create an even bigger scene or something. Because you are full of potential. You will not feel insulted. Because there's no negativity in the soul. Not even an iota of ego. So how am I going to feel that soul is actually trying to put me down by asking me to kneel? So one thing is, of course, if you know how to respond in such a way that you in the end don't need to kneel down, is fine. But on the other hand, if the person say you got to kneel down, then when you are doing that act of humility is not submissiveness, is not succumbing to someone. You do it because you know inside you, you're doing it because you're respecting what the soul wants you to do. Even though he's asking you to do something that's so unreasonable. But because you respect that being, you're not respecting that act or that word that the soul asks you to do, because he's off his mind to ask you to do it. So once you understand where that person is coming from, you don't take in the sorrow given by someone. Because if I take in the sorrow, I accumulate a lot of negativity more than actually is necessary. Then where is my eternal face? Even my Shakti face is gone. So, in some sense, Raja Yoga has taught me how to see virtues, powers, and qualities the way it should be seen, not the way that I've understood from the world last time. And that's why it makes my journey into going back to the eternal face is easier, because it also helped in my Shakti phase. Because as a Shakti, is you are more embracing, you're more inclusive. You do not see the badness of the other person, even though the person did something bad to you. You overlook it because you only have love. And when you have love, you have tolerance easily. You don't have to tolerate like, no, we will suppress, That's a wrong way definition of tolerance. The real meaning of tolerance is, I am so full of love. Even though that someone were to say something to me, I still give love. And then love other people see is tolerance. But you know, am I tolerating? I didn't even understand. I didn't even know that. But you know, you're giving love. You're giving respect. But the other people see as you are so tolerant of that soul. Okay, so I've used my qualities in a worthwhile way to accumulate for myself. So I'm happy. I'm happy because I made the person happy. So he may be like trying to do funny things, make me do this and that. But because of your love, here we know the more you love someone who is incorrigible, the more you are over time able to change that person. Reason, back to just now that the sister who asked me about toxic. When someone comes from a low frequency and you are actually in a high frequency because of all your potentials, and you keep on giving high frequency to that soul, you are actually uplifting that soul to a higher level. And you're helping, you're uplifting that soul. So even though this soul has been actually treating you badly, but you don't feel it. So if you don't feel it, you will be all the more willing to help the soul, to give love to that soul. And this is what we have learned in our institution, how our founders, our seniors who have passed away already, is love. Is love of the being to another being that actually help change people, help change the world. You try it. You try it with your own family members only. You see yourself as the Shakti or your eternal self. You see somebody else also is an eternal self too. Eternal self means what? Love only, isn't it? I don't have to connect to the anger. There's no anger in eternal love or eternal self. So connect with that eternal self with love. Love, love. Every time when you see that eternal self is love. I love you, eternal self. I love you, I love you. And genuinely, your intention is, I love you. Because we're all connected to the divine. So when I realized that, slowly you will become appreciative. You'll become understanding. You become accepting of the other person. And you accept your own with others. Okay, I have a question here. What if you don't love that person? I know we don't hate anyone as souls, okay? What if you don't love that person? Simple answer. Because there are so many virtues that come from love. And I often give this answer to the students. If you can't love another one, it could be your relative, even it could be your parents you don't love. It's possible because you build up so much hate or dislike of that soul. Just do one small little thing. Minimum that any human being should do is you should respect another human being. That's the minimum. Respect another human being. Even though that human being that you call human being is your father that you don't like, okay, respect him as a human being then. Then there will still be love. So when we understand that from the root of the 7 qualities, I just have to just give. It's my vibration of love that goes out. The other side will receive as either love or respect or regard or appreciation. Whatever that the soul needs, the soul will receive from you. You only need to vibrate love. That's all. So even though you have children who are quite difficult nowadays, continue to love them. Don't give up. Maybe it might take months or years. Doesn't really matter because you are not expecting anything in return. Once you love someone, you respect something in return, it's not unconditional. It becomes conditional already. So you are actually not practicing eternal phase, nor Shakti phase. All right? Okay. So I hope I've answered. Tag team, please, next one. Now, I have already given you the characteristics, some of the wordings that you can relate yourself to and practice. Then this is now my own, I now come to this conclusion that any woman can go within to reconnect with your inner power. Any woman. Next, please. To be your real, true, authentic self again, meaning you don't mask. You don't wear masks anymore to pretend. You just be your own self, okay? Next, please. You are free to be who you are because you're no longer tied down by rules and regulations of other people. Even though modern phase has her own rules, as a Shakti, your own rules is the boundaries that you draw in terms of if someone were to give me hate or anger or something, my boundary is I don't want to accept it. I hold it at bay. I don't want to accept it. That's actually how I draw the boundary. Okay. So if you don't accept it, you're not taking in sorrow. You're not taking in unhappiness. You're not taking in hurt. You just put it out there. That's all. So the person after a while will get tired. He knows that he cannot shake you from your seat. Okay. Of truth. You are free to be who you are. You're in your own truth. Okay. You live with peace and harmony with yourself and with others. This is really great living. You remember that clip that you saw just now by Muniba, the lady on the wheelchair? She said, "You're not living until you have served someone else and helped someone, uplift someone's life. Then you start to live," she said. Okay, that's what the Shakti is. Next, please. Some more? Some more? Okay, do the whole thing for me, this whole chant. Yeah. I just want to summarize, just to reiterate that the Shakti phase really is to help us to go right back to our original self, the eternal self, and help you to transform yourself. Okay? Thank you. So next one. I think I could have said quite a bit of it, so let's now run through it. Thank you. Next, tag team, next one, please. All right, we are now portraying this. Now on the fourth quadrant, the Shakti, now we are moving towards the eternal. And in my presentation just now, I said, when you're actually in the Shakti phase, you're sitting in your own truth, not 100% yet, but you're growing and growing every day, okay? And you will go back to the eternal phase of the 100%. Next, please. Someone. We love this drawing because of her eyes, as Dimple mentioned just now. Next, please. So the eternal phase is I am. I am her own real self, and it is her real self beginning to the end. Next one, please. Yeah. So now this is where the 7 qualities are. She is truth, love, peace, purity, happiness, bliss, and power. These are her innate natural qualities, intrinsic power. All right. Innate means natural. It comes from the divine only. Nobody else gives me the characteristic or the thing that's called love. No one. It's only the divine, because we're all divine beings ourselves. So she will be in her truth, and she will then have the powers, the intrinsic powers. There are some powers. You're learning some powers tomorrow. Those powers are more in relation to actually relationships, but you can also get power out of love, out of peace, out of happiness. You can, because I'm sure you have heard of the power of love, right? That even though someone is very hard-hearted, but if you continue to love someone, just as I said, if someone is incorrigible, but if you continue to love genuinely as an eternal soul to an eternal self, okay? Same frequency, then it will work. Right? Next one, please. I'm reading the message. If one have attained the true authentic self and self-empowered, realize the circle of friends, and self-empowered, realize the circle of friends of people get smaller. Is that normal? Okay, so Namprit, are you saying that the people that you actually mix with are the ones who are not like in the eternal self? I want to answer it this way. If I feel that when I move on to a Shakti phase or move on eternal phase, and then my group of circle of friends lessen, it's because I have not included them when I am in the Shakti eternal phase. Because you only have love. How can you have diminishing number of friends then? Cannot be. But if you have diminishing number of friends because you think that you're actually on a different path now, and they see you very different, they want to shy away from it, it's their problem, not yours. Even though they want to walk away from you, you don't have to cling on to them because they are human beings. They haven't come to a point to understand what is actually eternal love, eternal soul. You know. So when you know, even though they want to walk away, let it be. But you don't see it as if like they walk out for me and then so therefore I'm very sorrowful. They actually disrespect me. If you think like that, you're back to your modern or your traditional phase. Shaktis are always on the unlimited, always broad in your love is unlimited. So you're inclusive. The whole world of human beings are your brothers and sisters. It's called unconditional love. So you can actually love them, eternal self to another. If they don't want to be your friend, that's fine. So they are not giving you the kind of company that's going to help you to grow. Do you want to be with them? If you feel that I want to be because I'm going to bring them up, then I have to ask you one question first. Are you 60, 70, 80% fool yourself first before you actually help them? If you are not, I'd rather you don't help yet. Until you fill yourself up, then you go and help them. By that time, if you're 70, 80, 90% full of all the qualities, they will come back to you. They will get attracted to you because your frequency of goodness is so high. They will come back to you automatically. So you don't have to worry. They want to walk away, let them walk away forever, so never mind. Because they don't serve your purpose. You understand? When I say let them walk away, I don't mean like so, Sister Rosa, how can you be so hard-hearted, you know? I'm not talking about it. I'm talking about I'm on this journey. If people pull me back, do I want it? I think I'm stupid. But if someone pull me back and you think that someone can be served, do something about it. But if over a period of time that soul doesn't give any signal or any way or result to tell you that that person is interested, but it's more like I want to cling on to you only, be careful. Once they cling on to you, you can be drawn back to the traditional phase or the modern phase because that soul is not having a clean love with you. Okay, I hope I answer all the questions appropriately. Right, where am I now? Okay, eternal phase is the essence, the spirituality of the soul. Can you have the last line, please? Yeah, spiritual innocence, the pure glow, the sparkle of the face. I want to explain a little bit about essence and innocence. I think the first time when we hear the eternal phase, essence we don't quite understand, but now essence we know. It's actually the spiritual being that is truth itself. Like Dimple gave the example, we use essence of vanilla because it is original. And when it is essence, means very concentrated, it's going to, just small little bit only, is going to give you a whole lot of delicious dishes. So essence is no clutter, no complication. I am truth. Truth has no duality. Black is black, white is white, no gray. So we know, and once we know, and I actually maintain my path that way, no one can veil you away from it. No one. And when you're not, this is where the purity of the soul comes in. When someone asks me what's the meaning of purity, I will tell them, if they have heard about the 5 vices, I will tell them that a pure soul does not have a single trace of algae. A stands for anger, L stands for lust, and I said just now is from liking someone to the other end, okay? G stands for greed, another A stands for attachment, which is a perverted form, I won't say perverted, it's actually a corrupted form of love, and ego. An eternal face does not have any trace of algae at all. At all. So can you imagine? This is such a pure being. Purity. So it's like a diamond so pure, right? So doesn't the diamond shine? Doesn't the diamond actually sparkle? And this is where the essence and the innocence comes in. And that innocence, because I'm devoid of all the so-called negativities of the world. Because those negativities of the world is actually making us, how to use the word? It's making me unwise. Yeah. An eternal face is a wise, very wise, because you have truth. Truth helps you to stay on the right path, the right. So when you are your eternal face, when you are actually without impurities, then you shine. And the shine is not only just here. That's where you are. Later on, I'm going to explain a bit. But it shines out. The light shines out. Have you seen sometimes some people, maybe some monks or nuns, their face glow because of the purity of that soul at that time. Okay, next please. Essence, eternal face. Okay, some more. Okay, I'm now explaining a bit more about the eternal face, because we kept saying about going back to the true self. So what's the true self? What is and who is? So I'm looking at the eternal face, which is the eternal self. And I want you to know that each one of us, you are in touch with yourself all the time. You are. Next, please. Consciously and unconsciously, you are in touch. Next one. Some more. Some more. Yeah. The one who thinks, feels, decides is the self. The one who thinks, feels, decides is the self. Is the spiritual being, the self, the soul, whichever terminology that you use, but it is not the body. So your own true self is not physical, it's metaphysical. And it is this self who thinks, feels, decides. That's the reason why sometimes when you make the wrong decision, you go into the other side, which is the impurity side. And then you find yourself getting upset, angry, and so on. But if you just now, you know who is your own true self now. This is your own true self. You know this own true self, you guard it, you protect it, making sure that you stay on your eternal self all the time. And staying on eternal self means the 7 qualities. So the one who has all the 7 potentials, all the 7 innate qualities of the spiritual being. Next, please. So these are the spiritual, eternal qualities. Next, please. Okay, so now experiment. You have already seen the last slide, right? The 7 qualities. Is it possible, tech team, that you go back to the last slide to show them the 7 qualities? I'm sorry. Yeah. Can you write down these 7 qualities? Truth, peace, love, purity, happiness, bliss, power. These are your innate natural qualities of the spiritual being, which is the eternal self, and you call it the eternal face. All right? So every woman has this. To some degree, only some got more, some got less. That's why you can see like some women more loving, some women more truthful, some women more powerful. That's because as they journey through life, Their experiences in life allow them to either grow in some qualities or they miss some other qualities. But every single eternal phase has these 7 qualities. Okay, so now you got 7. Now I have the next slide, please. Next slide. I want you to discover for yourself. You already know your quality, I'm sure, but just an exercise, just to break the mind speaking. First one I want you to do is, what quality or qualities or virtues do you have? Ask yourself now. Sit down and ask yourself, what qualities or qualities do I have? Write it down. Or virtues, all right? You don't have the 7, then you have the virtues, maybe respecting someone, caring about someone, responsibility. Those are also part of qualities, but they're called virtues. Write that down. I'm sure you can come up with some. The ones that you always use, you can see. Next one. What are the qualities or virtues that your friends, your colleagues, or even your neighbors, your own family members see in you and they praise you for that? Write that down. These are the qualities, the virtues that other people see in you and they praise you. You must have 10 by now. Right? Look at the list again. This is your quality. These are your qualities. These are your virtues. This is your eternal self. I'm sure you didn't write down like, I'm jealous, I hate someone. You didn't write that down, right? Those are not qualities. So whatever you have, they are you. Okay? They are you. They are your self-respect. Remember that. Now, the third question. What other quality do you want to develop? Something that you know that is difficult, you have been trying, but you couldn't. Write that down. And give the reason why you want it. Give the reason why you want it. Okay? Let's not dwell on the reason. You just hold on to it first. Can I move on to the next slide, please? So now you know your qualities. It's a very simple exercise. The self. Just now I mentioned that you are actually in touch with yourself consciously and unconsciously. You are consciously in touch with yourself when you are knowingly creating a thought. It's like before I talk to you, I have to think, isn't it? So when I think, I know that I am actually this being who is actually have to think something to talk to you. And when I talk, I have to talk purposefully. Otherwise, I'll be talking waste, gossiping and all that. And if I talk in this kind of thing, I'm not in my eternal self. Eternal self will not go into that kind of track of waste thoughts or negative thoughts or words or actions. No, they won't, because waste of time, waste of energy. They want to conserve it. So you are consciously in touch with yourself when you are creating the thought yourself. So like just now I asked you, what is a quality that you actually have? You think. So you wrote down. You think means you are in touch with yourself. And you wrote down your own quality. That is actually yourself, your eternal self. Okay, next slide. Next one. You are unconsciously, move on please. You are unconsciously in touch with yourself when, when you are unaware of thoughts running through you. You are unconscious. So sometimes you can be daydreaming. Have you ever been sitting in buses and you look out the window and your bus just went by, and then after some time, some landmark quite familiar, and, oh, you realize you arrived at your destination. When you call the bus, you ask yourself, how come I went through the 20-minute ride? I don't even know what I'm thinking. Because you are somewhere else. You're not paying attention to yourself. That is unconsciously, you're not in touch with yourself. Next one, please. Next slide. Go on, tag team. Yeah, you are not your true self. Go on, please. Show the whole sentence. Yeah, you are not your true self when you lose control of yourself. When you get into anger, you quarrel with someone, and then you get all stressed out and all that. You lose control of yourself. When we are sick and we keep on moaning and bemoaning the pain, you actually have lost yourself at that time because you're no longer thinking peacefully. I know when you say, how can I be peaceful? No, my body is aching like mad, and or I heard the story that actually I'm getting this or that, and looks like it will take a long time to cure. Yes, you can actually be worried. I fully agree with you. And yes, okay. Sister Dimple want to make an announcement. Dimple, you want to come on or not? Rather than put on the chat.
Sorry, sister, didn't want to interrupt you.
Okay, no problem.
But I'll do it in the chat. If any of you who have already registered with us and have not submitted your photos to us as yet and want to take part, because tomorrow we have a celebration. We have your photos are actually used in two areas. One is the collage, which you see daily on the screen. I think there are a couple of photos that have come in today, which will be only placed by tomorrow. And also the celebration event, which is the tomorrow at 3 p.m. I think, if I'm not mistaken. So 3 p.m. there'll be a special celebration for you women. So kindly pass your photo to us by today. You can send your photos to whoever is contacting you, the contact person. She will get in touch with you. I think she is in touch with you through broadcast, through you all are getting personal messages about the link and podcast. So just send in your photo to that person and that's it. Om Shanti.
Om Shanti. Thank you, Dimple. Right. Tech team, can you flash the PowerPoint? Thank you. Yes. So if I have bodily sickness, if you are actually having pain and you keep on thinking about it, the toxic thoughts will get into the body. So it takes a longer while for the body to heal. So how can I stay peaceful? Like I said, we are actually spiritual beings. This is the body. And if we tell ourselves that whatever I'm going through is part of the journey, that I have to settle account with some people, I settle account with my body, that truth will be helpful to you. I'm gleaning it only, okay? You'll learn more if you come to Raja Yoga knowledge. But the most important thing is when I give in to any negative emotions, I've lost control of the self. That's what I want to draw attention to. And you will get peaceless, you get loveless, you don't feel as if you're being loved at all sometimes, and so on. So you're depleting your potential again. Next, please. Right, let us experiment with I am a creator of my own thoughts and feelings. Now, before you move on to the next slide, I have been saying a lot now about your thoughts, your feelings. I just want to synthesize it a bit. I hope you can see the thread of the three presentations before me and now. And the common thread is thoughts. Eternal phase, the thought is I am. And I am of all the 7 qualities. The traditional phase is I'm not what I am. And the words, the choice of words, the thought is I am not I'm who you say I am. When you say I'm who you say I am, you've given up your power to somebody just by that thought, and it give you a feeling of helplessness. When you move on to the modern phase said that I want to be who I am. So you're going to come and dictate me. It gives the power to that modern phase soul. But in so saying, she's actually identifying herself not with the true eternal self. She's identifying herself with the outside set of norms that she's trying to respond or to react to. So everything is back to thinking. When you hear me just now, when I was presenting the eternal phase, I kept telling yourself that don't think this way, don't think that way. It's thoughts all the time. So now I want to experiment with you so that you understand that you create thoughts. Just now I mentioned about daydreaming. We all know, right? We daydream a lot. Sometimes we have old things come up, and some old baggage, some old stories will come up, go very fast. It takes a while for you to stop it. Even after you stop it, you feel very low down because you remember something that's bad that's happening or something. Again, it's thoughts, but I have no control over the thoughts. So I allow the thoughts to run wild and therefore affects my feelings. So there is a connection between the thoughts and the feelings. So if you really want to go back to your eternal self again, you have to be in charge of your thoughts, full stop. Feelings come from your thinking, come from your thoughts. So you just manage your thoughts, all right? Next slide, please. So I want you to remember, creator, you're the creator of your own thoughts and feelings. Now, just look at this. If I say I cannot do, you become enslaved by the word cannot. But if I say I can, even though at that time I can't, I say I can, that self-pride will come. The next thing when you say I can is, well, how am I going to do it? You want to say I can, but actually I can't. If you say this way, you're back to I cannot. You're only saying I can, those lip service only. But when you say I can and you truly know that you can, but at that moment you don't know the solution, it doesn't really matter. The most important thing is my first thought is I can do it. When you say I can do it, you empower yourself straight away. This is a very important thought. Okay, I want all of you to remember this. Just by changing one word, the word not, you just cancel the word not, and you will feel empowered. Now, I want you to do this. Okay? You now repeat, I cannot do this. Repeat it to yourself 10 times, but each time you repeat, you make it stronger, louder. I cannot, I cannot, I cannot, I cannot, I cannot, I cannot. Make it louder now. Say it to yourself. Okay? Now I want you to switch. You tell yourself, I can, I can, I can, and speak it louder and louder. I can. Okay? Can you feel the difference between the two? Type in a chat box. Cannot gives you what feeling? Can gives you what feeling? Type in the chat box, please. Okay. Energy elevated with can. Good. Anybody else? Confidence. All right. When you say what? What gives you confidence? Can gives strength. Okay. Anybody else? Feel empowered. I can means I'm empowered. Okay. Cannot makes me helpless. Good. Yeah. So now you have a taste of what words, okay, can make to you the feeling. Usually we respond more to the feeling because that's actually how we think we are. Good, thank you. Yeah, can means capable. You say you're capable, you feel capable. So I want you to remember, you must pay attention to your thoughts. And this is where I usually tell the student, you have to pay attention to your thinking. If you don't pay attention to your thoughts, you cannot stop it at that time. You have to pay attention to your thoughts every moment. All right? I want to say something else. Do you know that our mind is very funny? Whenever you say something N-O-T, not, it cannot register. It cannot imagine what it's like. So when you say, I can, and then I can do this, I can sing, I can dance, can. But you say, I cannot sing, I cannot dance, okay? You will forever cannot do it. Forever cannot do it because you already told yourself that you can't. Maybe it's not a very good example. I bring another example. Let's say you have a long-standing bad habit and you want to change it. So let's say the habit is lying or cheating. And you tell yourself, I'm not going to lie anymore. I'm not going to lie anymore. So you thought that by telling yourself not to lie, that means you will be honest. But because you say, I am not going to lie, the mind can't read the M, so it becomes I am lying. So you will continue to lie. No matter how much you try your best not to lie, you will continue to do it because you say, I am not. But the magic word is I am. Remember the eternal soul? I am. So when you say, I am happy, I am, you don't say lie, right? I am honest. You'll be honest. So you replace anything that is a bad thought by a positive, elevated thought. All the 7 qualities are elevated thoughts, uplifts you and uplifts other people. So remember this point. Whenever you want to change any habit, don't say, I'm not going to do this anymore. You will continue to do it because the mind will not read not. Instead, replace. If you say, I'm not going to lie anymore, then you say, I'm going to be honest. If you say that I do not want to be lazy, then you say, I'm going to be enthusiastic. Then you'll be enthusiastic. But you say, I don't want to be lazy anymore. You will all the more lazy around. Some days you can, some days you can't. So pay attention to thoughts, okay? You are the creator of thoughts. So I've actually given that example. So now I want to give a meditation experience to you about thoughts, creating thoughts and feeling it, and hopefully you'll be peaceful. So shall we do something like that? Oh, okay. Diana says optimism. Very nice. This is a very simple meditation piece using only simple words, okay? The simple thoughts that will give you the feelings. You can sit open-eyed. You can look on the screen, or you can close your eyes. As I speak the words, I want you to repeat those words as if you are creating those words. It's because you didn't know how to create the thoughts, so I'm now suggesting a thought to you. So you repeat the words that I said as if you created those thoughts. You understand what I'm saying? All right? So when I say I am peaceful, you repeat in your mind. Don't say oh no, your mouth. In your mind, say I am peaceful. And then when you say I am, you are. Okay, so I am peaceful. And when you actually go into the word peace, try to experience peace. Slowly build up feelings that will help you. So let's start. Just follow my words and try to experience the feeling that comes with the word. I go within into the quietness of my mind. My mind is quiet. As I go within, I'm slowly unaware of the external world. The external surrounding. Unaware of the physical surrounding where I'm sitting now. I am now fully focused on my thoughts, staying within the self. I am sitting with myself in my inner world. I am silent. I am silent. I am calm. Calm. I am still. I am still. I feel peaceful. I am peaceful. I am peace. I am peaceful. I am peace. I am peace. I stay in my peace. Peace is my truth. I am peaceful. I am peace. Om Shanti. Okay, next slide. Tell me, how do you feel? Thank you, Vasanthi. Anybody wants to share your feelings? How you feel about the whole meditation? Peaceful, okay. Anyone else? Feel calm and peaceful. Anybody? Good. Calm and happy. Good. Okay. Good feeling. Good. So now you know, you repeat. Thank you. Calm and peaceful. Now you know, you repeat the word, the thought, you give yourself the feeling. So if you want to go right back to your eternal self, you accumulate peace, isn't it? So you have to tell yourself, I am peace. Because eternal faith says, I am. So I am peace. I'm love. I'm happiness. I'm power. Those 7 qualities tell us I am. Even though you repeat the words, but you don't feel it, you will not accumulate. So the trick is you got to experience it. You have to experience it. All right? I'm just looking at whether I should continue with my thing and then continue tomorrow or what. Tech team, I know I'm up to 6 o'clock. Can you tell me how many slides more do I have?
Instead, you have 4 more slides.
4 more slides. Okay. But I'm going to have one more meditation commentary. So are we going to overrun Dimple or what? Finish it. You want me to finish it? That means you can go up to about 6:30. Everybody okay? Or you want me to continue tomorrow? Because tomorrow I have an hour with them.
Tomorrow you want to have any activity in particular, or you want to continue this?
I want to continue this together with the activity.
If you think it's okay in 1 hour,
I
no
think
problem.
now is the best time for me to stop because almost everyone experienced something, you see, so they can go back and they
No
can
problem,
practice it.
sister.
Yeah.
You can
So
stop now.
so I'm thinking that maybe I stop now and I will continue what I am supposed to finish today, tomorrow.
We have a beautiful song for you, which we can play and they can listen to. And we can close with that song, sister.
Sure, thanks a lot. But before we do that, so I just want to address everyone. I hope you have taken something and know now how you can actually get back to your own eternal self. It's not difficult. It's just changing your thoughts to stop. Change your thoughts, experience it, and you'll be there. But you need to be very patient. Okay? Watch your thinking. If you have an old thought that come to your mind, don't entertain that thought. Don't entertain that thought. And what did I say you should do? Replace that thought. If you have hatred towards someone and that feeling comes quite strong to you, so what should you replace? Instead of saying, I'm not going to hate him anymore, it won't work. You will continue to hate that soul. So what you need to say is, I love, or I respect, or I care. You must have these words which are uplifting for yourself, because the more you hate that person, the more it's going to deplete you. You can't go very far in your pursuit of your eternal self. So everything that we want to do, we are responsible. Got nothing to do with outside world. You can say somebody come and disturb my peace, disturb my meditation and all that. No. Like I said, if I can go solitude here in a group of 40 people, who can stop me? just remember, we all have the power within us to do anything ourselves. And like Sister Amuda said, solution-minded. You have to find solution to your problems. Don't sit in your problems, which I used to at one time. But now I realize I'm wasting a lot of time. So be wise, be matured, and all of you, I'm happy that you give me the feedback that you've been happy having the experience. Can you please practice this today, tonight, so they get more calm when you actually come in tomorrow? And when you start doing something that you've just learned, you start the habit. If you do the same thing 2 times, you create a habit. So you do something bad 2 times, you create a bad habit. You do something good 2 times, you create good habit. Okay? So you read down once with me, you do one more time that peace thing, then before you go to bed, make sure you got 5 at least. Okay? It won't take you long, only about a minute or so again. But when you say, don't say, I'm peace, I'm peace, I'm peace. And as if like you're so busy, I'm peace, I'm peace. Then where's your peace? There's no peace. So you really need to slow down the speed of your thought in order to get there. Okay? Some tips for you. All right, people, thank you so much. So I see you tomorrow. Plenty to do. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you, sister, for that beautiful experience. And thank you also to you ladies for your active participation. Our session has reached the end for today.
Yes, Diana. Thank you so much. All wonderful presenters. I learned so much today. I feel so rich. Thanks for the donation of knowledge. So we have more to learn tomorrow. Please join us back again at 9 a.m. It's going to be an exciting and enriching end to this retreat. Have a good rest, ladies, and thank you. Enjoy the video.